My Hall of Fame inductee is William Howard Taft. Hall of Fame reason number 1. The presidential first pitch. Taft actually started the presidential first pitch tradition. Taft lobbed a perfectly placed ball right into the hands of Hall of Famer Walter Johnson to start one of the 1910 Washington Senators games. This pitch started one of the most patriotic symbols we have here in America that has stood strong through war, terrorism, and the worst financial situations. It stands as a symbol representing the mentality that no matter what will happen, we'll always be okay and continue to move forward. Hall of Fame reason number 2. Governor General of the Philippines. The Philippine-American War kicked Spain out of the Philippines, leaving the Filipino people without a formal government. Taft was the first civilian to serve in this position of Governor General, and was in charge of seeing the economic development and progression of the island nation. Taft proved to be very popular with the Filipino people, as well as his compatriots back home. He served in this position from 1901 to 1904. Setting the tone for close relations of one of our closest Asian allies and the country with the most admiration for the U.S. in the world. Hall of Fame reason number 3. U.S. President and Chief Supreme Court Justice. William Howard Taft is the only person in recorded history that has served as both President of the United States and as the Chief Supreme Court Justice. Taft was always a student of law and had no intentions of becoming a president, but was pushed by his wife to pursue it. After his stint as president, he pursued his lifelong goal of becoming a Supreme Court justice. Taft was able to pass important amendments, acts, and bills at both of his major occupations and influenced American history through the process. Hall of Fame reason number 4. The Judiciary Act of 1925. The Judiciary Act of 1925 was proposed by 3 justices, with the oversight of Chief Justice William Howard Taft. This act cut down the amount of cases that were put through the federal court system by leaving the cases the court took up to their discretion, and further defined the court's jurisdiction. This act was important due to the fact that it eased the flow of the Supreme Court's workload, which increased accuracy on rulings, as well as it enabled the courts to focus on cases that actually needed a Supreme Court ruling. Hall of Fame reason number 5. The 16th Amendment. The Taft administration passed the 16th Amendment, which allowed the federal government to collect income tax on all American citizens. This amendment allowed the federal government to keep an army, build roads and bridges, enforce laws, and carry out other important duties. The amendment was one of the most pivotal in American history because it set into motion our tax system today and how our federal government pays for things. My inductee into the Hall of Shame is Joseph McCarthy. Hall of Shame reason number 1. Judicial career. To become the youngest Wisconsin circuit judge, he lied about the incumbent judge's age, calling the 66-year-old 73, and stating he was too old and infirm to carry out his duties. McCarthy spent little time on cases, relying little on experience and heavily on his own sense of morality and common sense. And he was censored in 1941 for mysteriously losing the evidence in a price-fixing case. Hall of Shame reason number 2. Military experience. Joseph McCarthy volunteered for 12 combat missions as a tail gun observer, giving himself the nickname as Tail Gunner Joe. He falsely claimed 32 aerial missions to qualify for the Distinguished Flying Cross and other air medals. The Marine Corps approved of such medals due to his strong political influence. Hall of Shame reason number 3. The Lavender Scare. Around the same time McCarthy went after communists, he went after members of the LGBT community. McCarthy blackmailed and threatened government employees that were suspected to be homosexual. McCarthy persuaded President Eisenhower to pass an executive order to track down all homosexual government employees and fire them due to sexual perversion. Hall of Shame reason number 4. Army vs. McCarthy. April 1954. Senator McCarthy took it upon himself to expose all communists in the armed forces. Citizens were willing to overlook McCarthy's claims of communists among Washington's elite, but this claim was seen as disgraceful. By the time the trials were over, he had lost the majority of his allies and lost his power. He kept his job as a senator, but lost all authority and power he had before. Hall of Shame, reason number 5. McCarthyism. McCarthyism was when Wisconsin Senator Joseph McCarthy decided to hold a series of trials on suspected communists. These trials ruined people's lives as well as their careers. People viewed the suspected communists as such even when they were proved to be not guilty. The worst part about the whole scenario was none of the suspects were found guilty.